Like them not to be there, but they just come of their own volition.
It's obvious Paul's life these days revolves around home, family, and rock and roll. And he's well aware of the fact that he's often perceived as a sentimental softy.
I think I've built up a bit of an image of being a family man, sheep lover, and, you know, stuff like that, which is true as well. But I mean, you know, I'm a rock and roller, and I like all that stuff, and I still love to do it.
But you know what people say about you, that you tend to look on the bright side and the light side, and the songs are romantic and uplifting.
Yeah, it's true. It's also not true, because I say, you know, I'm the guy who wrote Helter Skelter, which was Mr. Manson's theme tune, you know, so I've done a lot of stuff like that, but probably recently I've done more of the sweet stuff, and I think that's what's got me this kind of new rep for that. So we're trying to redress the balance there by playing live with the band and having this kind of an album, which has got a little bit more of a acerbic edge.
My brave, my brave, my brave faith.
Do you feel yourself to be, I don't know, the keeper of the flame more than the other guys in some way?
No, not really, no. We started off as 4 kids coming out of Liverpool, and we didn't think of ourselves as anything, not even Mersey Beat or Mop Tops or anything. Just thought we were guys, we had our hair a certain way and talked a bit funny, you know, and went to America, and they said, could you say that again? That's so cute. I love the way he says that. Which, what do you mean? That's it. I love it. What do you mean? So, you know, I mean, we just fell into all of that and enjoyed it and just had a great time, made a lot of great music.
It's been a hard day's night.
It was great being part of the 60s. It was amazing being part of the Beatles. It was great writing with someone like John Lennon. You know, I feel kind of privileged to have done what I've done. And in assessing it, I would feel very lucky to have got where I've got. I think, you know, all the other guys keep the flame alive too, George and his Wilburys. And Ringo does a lot of good stuff. He's done stuff with George on Cloud 9 and stuff, so we're all still working, really.
When you look at groups like The Who and the Stones that have staged these reunions, does it not bring up that feeling of, oh, yeah, we should get the Beatles back?
With John gone, we're not the Beatles. No one seems to notice that. From our point of view, we were always glad that the Beatles had a kind of A to Z career, a body of work, and they finished. They didn't drift on with these dreadful farewell tours. They just went, boop. That's it, boys. Good night. So we ended on a high, you know. Maybe one of these days you'll see 3 80-year-old Beatles hobble on and say, Hall of Fame, and, hey, she loves you, yay. You know, but I kind of dread it, you know. So I won't be the first one to suggest that.
At 46, Paul McCartney still has all the charm surrounding his immense talent that first made him famous nearly 30 years ago. In England, Lisa Gibbons, Entertainment Tonight.
Thank you, Lisa. Paul McCartney's new album is titled Flowers in the Dirt and will be in record stores June 6th.
There's another footnote to this McCartney profile. A recent unauthorized biography of the late John Lennon painted an unsavory portrait of John. McCartney, here for the first time, gives his reaction.
John Lennon was not a homosexual.
McCartney is quick to come to the defense of his late friend, who was the target of an unauthorized biography by Albert Goldman.
Goldman comes out with his book and says John was gay, and, you know, you've got to wonder whether he was. But I shared so many hotel rooms with him when he was in various states of sobriety. And, you know, something should have slipped in 20 years, shouldn't it? But when he's dead, you can do these rumors, you know, and you can do them when he's not as well, you know. That's the freedom of the press, and you wouldn't want to stop that, because they catch people like Nixon. You know, so you've got to allow them to be free, but it's a double-edged sword. It's a tricky one, you know.
But McCartney says John Lennon led a troubled, tragic life.
When your father leaves home at 3, which happened to him, when you then go and live with your maiden aunt instead of your mum, who lives fairly near with someone else, you don't live with her. Then when she gets run over in front of your door when you were 16 by a drunken cop and killed, then when your first marriage doesn't work out, you know, that's going to go for you. And so someone like John was very complex, dealing with all of those things, on the surface being quite a sort of happy guy, but with a lot of turmoil inside. So I loved him. I thought he was a great guy. One of my favorites.
Paul McCartney will kick off his world tour this summer. He has plenty of hits on his own, of course, but the concerts will likely include songs written by John Lennon as well.
He's been glorified as the cutest Beatle and vilified as the man who broke the group up. But throughout his career, music has remained the driving influence behind Paul McCartney. McCartney has now formed a new group, and Lisa Gibbons visited him in England to hear the flip side of one of music's most prodigious talents. McCartney is talented, playful, and enormously private. Consider this a rare glimpse at rehearsals inside his English farmhouse. The new band includes his wife of 20 years, Linda.
I tried out other singers, real proper session singers, kind of, who all the top people use. But I actually didn't like them. It was all too sort of pure for me. So it seems to work, you know. And she's the missus. I like her.
My brave face.
His new video, My Brave Face, takes a swipe at investors who madly collect Beatles memorabilia. He co-wrote the song with rocker Elvis Costello.
You've had very successful collaborations in your career. Why is that venue something that works for you?
It's twice as easy as writing on your own. Writing with John, for instance. On the Sgt. Pepper album, I was writing a song called It's Getting Better. It's getting better all the time. I was going on the piano. I go, it's getting better all the time. And John goes, it couldn't get much worse. And I mean, to have someone bring that into your song is like major, you know, because then your next line comes.
To admit it's getting better. It's a little better all the time. To admit.
Being a Beatle brought fame, fortune, and a lot of rumors. He's still trying to figure out some of them.
There's a book out that says its final chapter is McCartney alone. You know, it's like he sits there with no friends. And it's like, oh, bloody hell, you know. And you think, well, you know, I'll give him a list of my friends. I'll get everyone to ring up. You're my friend. Please ring this man.
So McCartney told me he plans to write his own book just to set the record straight. This is a man who's adjusted to life in the spotlight.
There's always someone out there to say, well, she's a bag, I don't like him, he can't act, and he sings crummy. And, you know, that's their prerogative. They're allowed to do that. You've got to remember that. Can't go around hitting them all just because they say something nasty. But as I say, you know, I've done very well. So out of it all, I've won.
From England, Lisa Gibbons, Entertainment Tonight.
The new McCartney album, Flowers in the Dirt, will be released on June 6th, and